Earlier this month, there was concern about the health of Pope Benedict XVI, but the Vatican said while the 93-year-old was ill, his condition wasn't serious. Joining us now to talk more about the retired pontiff's health is John Allen, the editor of Crux. And John, what can you tell us about Benedict's health? Are we getting the full story from the Vatican?
Well, let us begin by saying when it comes to the Pope's health, you virtually never get the full story from the Vatican. I mean, the old saying around here is that a Pope is never sick until he's dead. The story goes that there was a newspaper back under Pius XI in the early 20th century who published a piece suggesting that the Pope had a cold. L'Osservatore Romano, the official Vatican newspaper, ran a blistering piece criticizing this newspaper for daring to speculate about the Pope's health. The next day, L'Osservatore ran Pius XI's obituary. So, the Vatican always takes the position that the Pope's health is a private matter, and they generally do not comment on it. That said, there is no reason to believe in this particular case that the reports about Benedict XVI's health are life-threatening. That is, that they suggest that the end is near. Benedict at the time was suffering from what we in the States would call shingles. This is a skin disease that elderly people often get. About 80% of people 80 and above, and of course Benedict XVI is 93, at one point or another get this. It is extremely painful and tends to sap one's energy, but it is not life-threatening. And according to the Vatican, Pope Benedict XVI is recovering. So, at 93, and given not merely the age, but the mileage that any pope obviously carries, you have to be concerned, of course, for the Pope's condition, but there's no reason to believe that we are on some kind of death watch, Christine.
Well, we heard a lot about his illness after visiting his sick brother who then passed. What kind of impact did that have on the retired Pope? They were very close, right?
Oh, they were extremely close. You have to remember that the three Ratzinger children, that is Joseph, his older brother Georg, and their sister Maria, when they were children, they moved around a lot. Their dad was a sort of minor policeman in Bavaria. And as the Nazis were coming to power, he kept taking different jobs to keep away from the brown shirts. They grew up in about 6 different hometowns, meaning they were constantly starting over and not knowing anyone. And so they developed extremely strong bonds among themselves. Maria actually was Joseph's secretary for most of her life until she died, his secretary and housekeeper. They lived together. 2 Ratzinger brothers talked together on the phone virtually every day. Now, Maria died a number of years ago. This was Ratzinger's last immediate, Pope Benedict's last immediate family member. And so obviously the loss of his brother has to be extraordinary in terms of, what it means to him personally. On the other hand, Pope Benedict notoriously has a very spiritual view of things. I'm sure he believes this is not the end of their relationship, but just the beginning of the next chapter, and finds deep consolation in that.
Right. Now, Benedict XVI was the first pope to resign in almost 600 years. Since his resignation, he's lived at the Vatican. What kind of impact will it have when he does return to the Lord?
Well, we are expecting that when that happens, that we will see a state funeral akin to the kind of funeral liturgy that is celebrated when a sitting pope dies, which would mean that you will see, of course, all this is conditioned a bit by the coronavirus and what's going to be logistically possible when the time comes. But if it is possible, I think you would see a big public liturgy in St. Peter's Square, obviously presided over by the sitting Pope, Pope Francis. You would see dignitaries and VIPs from all over the world. The main difference, of course, is that funeral would not be followed by a conclave to elect a new pope, because we already have a sitting pope.
All right, John Allen, editor of Crux, thanks for being with us.
You bet.
If you're watching Currents News on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and then click on the bell to get instant updates about all of our newest content, because we are putting your faith in the news.